Good day. Here's the news from Mayo Kings TV as read by Timiala Emanuela. First, the headlines. Dr. Egware lauds Isoko North Chairman Ogorugba for approving Emevor Road Rehabilitation. Ishekiri Nation rejects INEC proposed demilitation and alleges marginalization. Edo moves to resolve dispute over ceding of oil wells to Delta State. Police warn against planned April 7 nationwide protest. On entertainment, Joy Rami crowned Miss World Nigeria 2025. On the business news, federal government confirms the adverse effects of Trump tariff on Nigerian exports. On the foreign scene, US cancels visas for South Sudanese over deportation dispute. Plus, Nigerians in 7 big clashes across 5 leagues. Now the news in full. Dr. Nelson Egware, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Delta State on Media, has lauded the Chairman of Isoko North Local Government Council, Honorable Elder Godwin Ogorugba, for his dedication to infrastructural development, particularly the recent approval for the rehabilitation of the police station road in Emevor. During the Isoko North Executive Council meeting held yesterday, several key projects were approved, highlighting the administration's commitment to community development. Among the notable projects are the construction of 60 open shops at Oto Owe Main Market, installation of solar street lights at the council's secretariat, financial assistance for indigents with critical health conditions, and the immediate employment of a victim of Fulani herdsmen violence from the Urumadu community in Uzoro, whose fingers were severed during an attack. Furthermore, the council approved various empowerment initiatives, including financial aid for women, provision of farming tools, and agricultural inputs to enhance productivity in the agricultural sector. Following the executive meeting, the road rehabilitation projects were approved. The Ishekiri Nation has vehemently rejected the Independent National Electoral Commission's INEC proposed constituency demilitation, citing concerns over unfair representation and deliberate marginalization. The rejection, which has sparked widespread reactions, underscores long-standing grievances of the Ishekiri people regarding political and electoral boundaries in Delta State. At the heart of the dispute is the claim that the proposed delineation by INEC disproportionately reduces Ishekiri's political influence, despite their historical and geographical significance in the region. Ishekiri leaders argue that the planned changes would further erode their representation in elective offices, particularly in the State House of Assembly and National Assembly. However, speaking on behalf of the Ishekiri leaders of thought, the Ishekiri prominent leader who doubles as the secretary of the group, Sir Amorigoye Soni Mene, described the proposal as an orchestrated attempt to diminish the Ishekiri voice in governance. They further accused INEC of succumbing to political pressure from dominant ethnic groups while ignoring the principles of fairness and equity. Now in the Edo State. The Edo State government has initiated steps to address the controversy surrounding the ceding of oil wells at Urogo in Oriono 1 local government area to neighboring Delta State. Deputy Governor Dennis Idahosa led a delegation to Orogo, where he met with community leaders, including Odionwere, Pa Odiase, Omorogieva, to discuss a peaceful resolution. Idahosa expressed his commitment to ensuring that the people of Orogo do not lose their resources, despite the challenges of underdevelopment in the area. He assured the community that Governor Monday Okpebolo's administration would engage relevant agencies to restore the benefits from the disputed oil wells, aimed at boosting the region's socio-economic development. The deputy governor, accompanied by Seplat Energy's general manager for government relations, Mrs. Adiza Gambati, also visited the disputed oil wells and called on the community to avoid taking matters into their own hands, emphasizing that the issue will receive due attention. The Nigerian Police Force has advised the Take It Back movement (TIB) and other organizers to shelve the planned nationwide protest scheduled for April 7, 2025. Reports show that the civil society organization and other groups have concluded plans to stage a nationwide protest on April 7th. The protest, according to the national coordinator of TIB, Juwon Sanyolu, is aimed at addressing issues surrounding the alleged misuse of the Cybercrime Act and the declaration of state of emergency in Rivers State. However, the Nigerian police, in a statement issued on Sunday by the Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi, advised the organizers to shelve this planned protest as it is ill-timed and mischievous. Adejobi said the scheduled date had been earmarked by the federal government as the National Police Day to celebrate the resilience and dedication of officers and men of the Nigerian police force. Now on entertainment news. Joy Rami Mojisola has been crowned Miss World Nigeria 2025. The 24-year-old, representing Osun State in the contest, emerged as the winner after a competitive grand finale held in Lagos at the weekend. The competition, which had 37 contestants from all the states in Nigeria, was narrowed down to 20 finalists. In the final round, Rami faced off against Miss Ebonyi, Miss Abuja, Miss Abia, and Miss Imo. Following a victory, Rami will represent Nigeria at the 72nd Miss World pageant in India from May 7th to May 31st, 2025. She will be competing against 140 countries at the forthcoming contest. Now on the business news. The federal government has acknowledged that several of Nigeria's oil and non-oil exports are set to face adverse effects due to the newly imposed tariffs by US President Donald Trump on Nigerian exports. This tariff, which is expected to disrupt trade relations, could potentially weaken the competitiveness of Nigerian products in the US market. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, confirmed this in a statement in Abuja. The minister, in a personally signed statement on Sunday, provided the government's first response 3 days after the announcement. Recall that Trump had announced in a decision widely condemned by the European Union and exporting nations that countries seeking to sell goods to the United States would now face taxes as high as 50%. Now on the foreign scene, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has announced that the U.S. is immediately revoking visas issued to all South Sudanese passport holders due to the African nation refusing to accept its citizens who have been removed from the U.S. Rubio, in a statement on Saturday, added that the U.S. will also block any arriving citizens of South Sudan, the world's newest country, at U.S. ports of entry. He blamed the failure of South Sudan's transitional government to accept the return of its repatriated citizens in a timely manner, recalling that a cornerstone of President Donald Trump's immigration policy is removing unlawful migrants from the U.S. with the promise of mass deportations. Finally, on the world of sports, Nigerian players were seen in the spotlight across top leagues on Sunday, with 7 crucial fixtures featuring stars who could play pivotal roles in matches that could shape title races, European qualification battles, and relegation fights. The Nigerian Premier Football League's title race would be decided when second-place Rivers United host league leaders Remo Stars arrive Port Harcourt. With just 7 matches remaining after this weekend's fixtures, Remo Stars hold a commanding 8-point advantage and a game in hand over their closest challengers. Rivers United captain Temple Emekaye has urged his teammates to bounce back from recent disappointments. However, Rivers United are seeking to recover from consecutive defeats, a 1-0 loss to Bayelsa United in the league and a shock 2-1 exit to Beyond Limits FA in the President's Federation Cup. Also in England, Alex Iwobi had more than Fulham pride at stake when Liverpool visited Craven Cottage on Sunday. The Nigerian midfielder, alongside fellow Super Eagles star Calvin Bassey, will be key to Fulham's plan against the champions-elect. Now to end the news, a quick recap on our headlines. Dr. Egware lauds Isoko North Chairman Ogorugba for approving Emevor Road Rehabilitation. Ishekiri Nation rejects INEC proposed demilitation and alleges marginalization. Edo moves to resolve dispute over ceding of oil wells to Delta State. Police once against planned April 7 nationwide protest. On entertainment, Joy Rami crowned Miss World Nigeria 2025. On the business news, federal government confirms the adverse effects of Trump tariff on Nigerian exports. On the foreign scene, US cancels visas for South Sudanese over deportation dispute. Plus, Nigerians in 7 big crashes across 5 leagues. That's the news is read and edited by Tiniela Emanuela. Thanks for watching.